Hi guys, welcome to my channel where today we are going to discuss everything about how do you get into architecture and especially about this entrance exam called NATA. So what it is, what does it mean, what it includes, how do you register for it and things like that. So let's get into it. Let's talk about how do you get into architecture. You can get into architecture by giving one or both of these entrance exams, that is the JEE paper 2 and the NATA. Let's talk about NATA. NATA is the National Aptitude Test for Architects, which tests you and your aptitude for becoming an architect. The NATA exam tests you for these 7 aspects: the verbal reasoning, non-verbal reasoning, logical reasoning, analytical reasoning, abstract reasoning, your numeric tests and your problem solving skills. Now you are eligible for the NATA examination if you fall into one of these 2 categories. The first one is that if you have given your 10th plus 2, that is your 12th examination with subjects like chemistry, maths and physics. Now your score for these 3 subjects in total should be at least and above 50%. And your total for all your subjects in your 12th examination should be at least 50%. But if you fall into the other category, then you should have your 10th exam plus you should have done 3 years of diploma with a mathematics subject. If you fall into either of these 2 categories, then you can easily apply for the NATA examination. So let's talk about what is it, when is it, or what the whole format is. The NATA exam is to be held on these 3 dates. The first one is 21st April, the second one is 28th of May, and the third one is the 9th of July. Now you can appear for the exam on either of these 3 dates or all of these 3 dates or maybe 2 of them. You can have multiple chances at giving the examination and try for the best score. On each of these 3 days, you have the option to select between the session 1, which is in the morning, that is at 10, or in the evening session. The question that a lot of people have is while registration, should you apply for 1 date, 2 date, or all of these 3 dates? My suggestion would be you go for the first date, that is the 21st of April, and then wait for your results and see how much you get, and then based on that you can appear for the second or the third examination date. The cost of registering for 1 date is approximately 1500 to 2000 rupees. NATA is a computer based test now. Previously, a few years back, it had like 2 parts. The first part was the drawing part and the other was a computer based test. But now they have changed the whole format and now it is just the computer based test. The test is for 180 minutes, which is 3 hours, and it has 125 questions, which are of 1 marks, 2 marks and 3 marks. The total score is 200 marks, out of which the qualifying score is 75. And a good score can be somewhere above the range of 120. If I talk about myself, I gave my NATA in 2016 and I got a score of 135. Now this was when there was the drawing test as well and the computer test as well. But I think with a score of about 120, you can easily get into a lot of very good colleges across India. I personally got into Kamla Raheja Vidyanidhi Institute of Architecture, which is in Mumbai, which is considered as one of the best universities to go to all across India. You can expect these 5 types of questions. The first one is the MCQ questions, that is the multiple choice questions, which give you 4 options out of which you have to select 1. The next one is the multiple select question, that is the MSQs, which give you 4 options out of which multiple options are the correct ones and you have to identify all of them. The next one is preferential choice questions, where you have to choose your preference They have allotted a certain amount of marks for each of the option, and then they'll judge you based on what your preference is. The next one is the numerical answer questions, which is a math problem where you have to calculate and write down your answer. And the last one is match the following answers, which is, I think, self-explanatory. Out of the 125 questions, which totally amount to 200 marks, 75 questions will be 1 mark questions, 25 questions will be your 2 mark questions, and 25 questions will be your 3 mark questions. You can find the topics that they often ask questions about here. So stop and take a screenshot. There are a lot of classes which provide you the coaching for the NATA examination like Silica or Sanjay Matre if you are in Mumbai. Now that you know the basics of what it is and what it means and what is the format and the curriculum of it, how do you actually register for the exam? You can register for the exam on the website. I'll give you the link somewhere here. And you can also find the link in the description box, which is the official NATA website. Here, you can fill in all your details, upload your documents, your signature, your photo and everything. And then choose your test center and preferred time. And then you can get a copy of your admit card, get it printed and take it to the test center with you. Now, you should register a few days before the actual test. You can find the actual details on when you should register or when you can opt for correction and everything. I'll link it in the description box down below, so you can check that out, which is the official NATA brochure that you should go through once for the exact details. Now that you're registered, you've prepared, and you're ready to give your exam, on the test day, what do you need to get with you? You need to have your admit card that you got after you registered for your NATA exam, and you should have your ID card, that is your Aadhaar card or some other kind of ID that is also mentioned in the NATA official brochure. So just check that out once before you give your exam. You don't need anything fancy to bring with you to the test center. Just get your pens, pencils and erasers. They'll give you everything over there. They give you the rough papers from there. You are not allowed to bring any electronic devices like phones or iPods or iPads or any reading material, any study materials. You can't even get your calculator with you or the watches that have calculators or anything like that. So all your electronic watches and everything, they will all have to be left outside. So just don't carry them with you. You should aim to reach the exam center at least 1 hour prior to your exact examination time, because there will be some registration and some procedure. You will have to get to your seat and everything. So just make sure you reach on time, and you will not be allowed to get out of the center even if you have finished the test before your 3 hours are completed. So just keep that in mind. But I think now that you know most of the whole process, you can just be free and prepare for it, register for your exam and give the exam. All the best, and I'll see you guys next time.